Was it just you and Chris?
Yep.
I'll be back.
All right. Do 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 do. Fill this empty space with me humming. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What the hell is Josh doing? Da 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 da. Josh is a big old douchebag. Da 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 da. Quit my
What are
song.
you smiling about?
I was singing the song.
What song?
Josh is a big old douchebag. Da da da. Gonna punch your stupid ass in the face. Da 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 da. What'd you get?
Coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Like a grown up?
A little late for that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we're podcasting though, so I'll make an exception.
We're drinking that coffee and. Woo.
I might have to start pissing more than if I was drinking wine, but I'm gonna go easy on it. Are we?
Are we live? Yes, we are.
Okay. So what you going? All right. Listen, I was gonna ask you this anyway.
Sure.
And it's probably better than if it was on the podcast because it has no business being on a movie podcast. Give me your picks for this weekend. Okay, we'll go. Who is it? At Cleveland at Houston. Who you taking?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. I think I'm leaning there too. What's the other one? Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah. And the third AFC game is Miami at KC.
Kansas City.
Me too. Okay, we're all in alignment there. Green Bay at Dallas.
Dallas.
That's a scary one though. As a Dallas fan,
Yeah, Jordan Love has been playing really good.
yeah, and like they're kind of coming on strong right
Fucking
now.
Green Bay apparently is just gonna have like 3 good quarterbacks in a row.
3 in a row. Play for 20. No, Aaron Rodgers only played for like 15, right?
I don't remember how many years he played for, but
He played a while, couple of contracts. Anyway, okay, Los Angeles at Detroit. That's a tough one.
yeah. I want Detroit to win.
I do too. Obviously, Detroit is my team. I've been a Detroit fan for years and years.
Yeah.
Chickens are all coming home to roost. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember all the
Yeah.
times that you talked about Detroit and your love of the team.
Yeah. My family's originally from Michigan, so. And then,
Michigan, Mississippi.
yeah, I meant Mendenhall. Okay, and then the last one, Philly at Tampa.
Oh man, like Philadelphia should win, but the way they've been playing the last month of the season.
Kind of all year.
I think I'll take Philadelphia.
Yeah, me too. I think there's some intriguing matchups, though. I think Cleveland and Houston, obviously. Green Bay and Dallas. Rams and fucking Detroit. I mean, there's like so many storylines there. And I would watch, like, I have zero interest seeing Miami and KC just because Miami's been playing kind of like shit recently. And KC's just been boring all year. But the weather, it's supposed to be like the third coldest game in the history of the sport. Like, just to
That
watch that.
Yeah, it's supposed to get cold, not Sweden cold, obviously, but it's supposed to get cold here, like starting Sunday. But today the high was supposed to be 65, and it is nowhere near that. It is 41 degrees.
It's cold.
Yeah, I'm just wondering when it's supposed to hit this high of 65. If it didn't hit it at fucking noon when the sun was directly overhead.
Yeah. Hell, my sister was telling me that Mississippi was going to be like in the teens.
I don't know. My weather, I guess I could look on my weather app and
Look,
see.
if it hits the teens in Mississippi, you can shut down the state. Nobody's going anywhere. Motherfuckers would be calling into work.
Yep.
Well, Carthage is, it says 60 now, but yeah, the low Tuesday is going to be 15 and the low Wednesday is going to be 13. Holla,
Is
holla,
that
holla.
at night or during the day?
I mean, that's got to be like, if it's the low, that's got to be at night, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it shows our low for Monday and Tuesday being 12.
Yeah, but y'all on that independent power grid. Y'all are going to be fucked.
I know.
Yo, God.
Yeah. Oh shit. Give me just a minute. You'll need to talk to the audience.
There is nobody here, so.
Have Josh's corner or something. I don't know.
Is anybody in here?
No, but you still need to fill the space for 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to read some of my slam poetry that I've been working on. Apparently, Ariana Grande's a home wrecker. That's something. I'm not even. I couldn't name you a Ariana Grande song, so I mean I don't. Who gives a shit about that, really? Okay, Pearl Jam, Wrecker, the first single from the new album is coming soon. That's, if you're a Pearl Jam fan. And Stranger Things news, the actor who played Argyle, who I really like that character, is one of the better new characters, says he never got a phone call to return for season 5. It kind of makes sense in the story, though. It all takes place in Indiana. No use for California. Yeah. Let's see. The Baja hoodie. You know I've got a Baja hoodie. Yeah.
You did an admirable
Okay.
job.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I had my headset on.
Yeah, but
Like
that was it.
You're like, apparently Ariana Grande's a home wrecker. I
Yeah.
couldn't name a single song. Nobody gives a fuck.
I mean, somebody's got to give a fuck.
What's she a home wrecker for?
I don't know. I mean, like, the post I saw was like, apparently she says she's in relationships with men who just came out of a relationship. But
Fucking Dalton doesn't know what my Twitch name is. So I told you I'd subscribe to the Last Drive-In Patreon.
For quite a bit of money, you could have
Yeah.
spent that on people who really needed it. But go ahead.
Well, I'm waiting. Once I get like some DVDs in my shirt, I'll probably cut it out because it is a lot.
That's an expensive Patreon. Yeah.
It is. What I really want is some of those DVDs though. That's why I did it.
And this is from Monster Vision.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but it's a lot for those DVDs.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I'm supposed to get a shirt, and I sit there thinking, I'm like, man, I've been subscribed for 4 months. How come I haven't got my shirt yet?
And I'm down $300.
I like my dumb ass. I finally realized I forgot to put my shirt size in there.
So, but you're getting a shirt now, right?
I should be, yeah. But I also, I did subscribe to Dr. Wolfula's Patreon because I like his content. And then plus, there's a shout out tier, so I'm gonna see if I send a message to ask because apparently you can shout out whatever you want. I want to make sure that's okay because I'm gonna shout out our podcast.
Fucking hey, like yeah.
Get some free publicity. Well, not free. I'm paying for it technically.
That's got to be a pretty cheap Patreon, $2 or $3 a month.
It's like $5.
Yeah.
And he does a Sunday movie night also.
I was about to say with YouTubers, because again, not bragging in any way, but I'm borderline destitute. That's just me. That's just who I am. But if I was going to become a Patreon outside of the Blank Check podcast,
Yeah.
it would be to Red Letter Media because I love those guys so much. But if you become a Patreon to them, it's mainly just you being like, thank you for your content. You do get like behind the scenes of their videos, but with YouTube videos, if you put in that much work, you can't just do it for the Patreons because you need more people, so you have to put it on the free feed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming with this Dr. Wolfula, the movie nights mainly what you're just wanting to support him and the movie night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With podcasts, it's different. You can just because I know Blank Check, man, their Patreon, like they cover so many movies outside of their main feed that I would be interested in.
Yeah. Well, I used to do the We Hate Movies, and I didn't ever actually mean to quit doing that one. I think
That's
I was
going to say that's a stacked Patreon. We just both decided to talk at the same time.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
No, I was just going to say on that one, I don't even remember why. I think it may have been the card I was using got
Expired.
Yeah, or something like that. Because with them, you get access to, member only podcast.
Well, they do a We Love Movies every month.
Yeah.
They do Animation Damnation, which I don't give a shit about any of that. Besides We Love Movies. I don't care about the Melrose Place or anything.
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
going to say, I've heard some good We Love Movie episodes.
Yeah, their new one is Oppenheimer, which I haven't seen, so I wouldn't listen to it,
You don't want them spoilers, huh?
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't.
Yeah, I know. There's just no way of knowing.
No. It's like that Nate Bargatze joke. He's like, I don't know history. He's like, so every historical movie, I'm on the edge of my seat. It's such a good fucking joke. Like sitting there and like watching Saving Private Ryan, gripping your seat because you don't know what's happening during D-Day.
Right. You ready?
So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What was you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, the next tier is werewolves. We discussed it. It's Silver Bullet, Dog Soldiers, and
Howling.
The Howling. Why did I not pick an American Werewolf in London?
I don't know. I think you said fuck John Landis.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Thank you.
All right, here we go. We're about to start. Ready?
Yeah, do it.
3, 2, 1. We are live now on the Clean Feed. About to come at you with a brand new episode of Very Unreasonable Things. What? What is it? What is it, Josh?
Are you introducing the podcast?
Yeah, I'm introducing the podcast. We just went live. Of course, we're introducing the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, we were already live we were already live on Twitch. This is live for Clean Feed. Yes, I am introducing the podcast. Welcome to Very Unreasonable Things. I'm Billy Bone, and joining me is Josh Lindsay.
Howdy.
So, how's it been going, Josh?
That's okay. Thank you for asking. Nobody ever asks.
You know, we haven't talked about this yet, but my daughter's going to be 16 in July, so she's got her learner's permit.
Oh, shit.
So I let her drive when she was visiting. She told me, like, her mom lets her drive, and apparently she's actually driven on the interstate. I'm not letting her drive on the interstate here.
Yeah.
Just interstate in Mississippi, in rural town Mississippi is a lot different than the interstate in the metro areas. Like, I wouldn't let her drive in Jackson either if I was still in Mississippi. But anyways, I let her drive. Yeah, we went to the store one day, and I was like, "You want to drive?" She's like, "You're going to be driving Brock?" I'm like, "Yeah." We're like, "Get on in." So when she gets behind the wheel, once we start driving, the first thing she does, she's like, and now remember, she's been here for a couple of days at this point. We've talked. We've already had a 3-hour car ride together, when I picked her up. She's just like, she's like, "So, how's it going? How's things been with you?" and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I need to talk when I'm driving." He's like,
That's
"Seen any good movies lately?"
That's adorable.
Like, this is
That's
weird.
adorable. Yeah, that's cute though. Oh God, 16, man.
Yep. Part of me wishes that, like, I'd had another child. Because Bailey's almost grown up, and I just feel like I'm going to miss that.
I get it. Yeah.
One day Isla will be 16, and you'll have those same feelings.
I already have it kind of now. Like if if the rare chance I get to like hold a baby,
Yeah.
like, you do get those feelings like, man, I miss this so much.
Yep.
Because it goes fast. It goes
It does.
fast.
Yeah. God. Like 2 more years, and she'll be out of fucking high school, and
Shit.
be going to
Legally an
college.
adult. Yep.
Yep. I will say this too, like, she's got a better head on her shoulder at her age than I did at that age. Like, she knows what she wants to go to college for and everything. Man, when I was 16, I was just thinking about that Metallica concert.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, I was a baby at 16. I wasn't even going to Metallica concerts at 16.
Yeah.
No, around that age. No, I think my first concert, sadly, was like around 17. Yeah. Better than Ezra.
Better than Ezra.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man,
like I was so nervous, even being in like Howlin' Miles,
yeah.
because I'm 17, but it's a concert, and I just like so scared that I wasn't even singing along to the songs. I was just standing there like a psycho who's about to shoot up the place. Like, oh. And
Oh
I knew all
man,
the songs. I knew all the songs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, and this has nothing to do. I know we were talking about our kids and shit, and then we transitioned to awkward concert phases.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about concerts, man, you remember when we got kicked out of Old Crow Medicine Show?
I do. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day because I listen to Old Crow semi regularly still. And I'll it 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 came back to me with a bullet of like us getting kicked out. But not only that, like I know the musician's name, Willie Watson. He was standing by his tour bus, and you were like, "Hey, man," you tried to like say something to him,
Did
and
I?
he was so like could not be bothered. Yeah, because I mean, all three of us were drunk, but Drew was just next level.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I was gonna say I don't remember trying to talk to him.
Yeah, yeah. Because we got kicked out right at the end,
Yeah, but we still missed Wagon Wheel.
and Angel from Montgomery,
Yeah,
which I
so
think was yeah. But we lingered long enough for like Willie Watson to be outside, like the band had quit, and standing by the tour bus. I say tour bus; it was mainly, like one of those. Yeah, I guess it was a tour bus. Hey man, good show. All right, whatever, man.
oh man,
He was too cool for us.
oh man,
Yeah.
it was still a good time even though we got kicked out.
No, and in Drew's defense, they kicked him out over some bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just straight up bullshit.
yeah, because you couldn't have decided that he fell because he was drunk based on the way he fell. Because the way he fell was just it's like one of those things where it could happen. Like I've lost my balance like that being sober. It wasn't like
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
it wasn't like he was stumbling. He just had a
it was like an awkward step, and then he
yeah,
caught himself. He didn't even like hit the ground.
yeah,
If you're a proper drunk, then you know you might bust your ass.
yeah, exactly.
It's I lived here in Stockholm for like 8 years now, right? And anytime me and Reese and some more people, anytime that we're like not necessarily bar hopping, but just changing bars, walking to the next one, the doormen, if they hear me speaking in my deep southern drawl,
Yeah,
everybody else around us can be drunk, drunker or as drunk as me, and not even drunk, but have a couple of beers in you. They will not let me in.
really?
Yep, it's happened multiple times. They're like,
Why?
"Nah, you." I don't know. I don't know. It's something like they think I'm probably a drunk Texan with my accent. I guess. I mean, you can't distinguish. If you don't hear the accent a lot, you can't distinguish Texas from
You're not
Mississippi.
you're not like walking up to the bar and being like, "Howdy, partner."
I mean, I do say howdy. That is my thing. But like, I won't even say anything to the doorman. They'll just stop me. Like, I'm not even in the bar because they have security posted up outside.
Yeah,
And they'll stop me and be like, "Nah, he can't come in." Me and my buddy Jacob, we were sitting there having a few drinks at this New England based, Boston based, I should say, sports bar that exists in Sweden called O'Leary's. And It's all over Sweden, and it's crazy because it's nothing but pictures of like Boston sports, Tom Brady pictures everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And we were leaving there one night, went down to the subway, and Jacob's tall. He's a little bit taller than you, and we're sitting there talking at the subway. Now we're both like equally drunk, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking, and security comes up because they. Oh, hey, baby. Good night. Get daddy a kiss. This is in the podcast. This is horrible podcasting.
What? With your daughter?
Yeah, 7-year-olds. Okay.
I was like, that can't
does
feel
hurt.
good.
No, it does. Stop.
That's because you said that.
Yeah, you were not nice.
You're getting headbutted.
I know.
It's like
All right, good night,
junkyard
baby.
dog over there.
Daddy.
I know. Good daddy kiss. Sweet dreams. And we're sitting there talking, and you know they have like rent-a-cops here in Sweden. You know, security.
Yeah.
They don't really have any power. They can, you know, zip tie you and call the cops if there's problems, you know. But judiciously, they don't, you know, there's nothing. And there was a couple down there. And they came up to Jacob because they heard me speaking English, you know. And again, I'm an American. I'm from Mississippi. I'm going to talk a little bit louder than most.
Yeah.
And they come up to Jacob and they're like, he can't ride the subway. And they're speaking to him, Jacob, in Swedish. And Jacob's like, why? And they're like, he's too drunk. You know, you need to take a bus. It's still fucking public transportation. What the fuck are you talking about? And Jacob's like, we're heading home. And they tried to make a big deal out of it. You know, they finally left. But it's something with this American South accent, man. I don't know. They don't know what to do with it.
They just assume you're drunk all the time.
Maybe. Or they're intimidated.
Intimidated. She gave me the sign like this to be quiet. I guess
Yeah, like she was sneaking up on me.
Yeah.
All right, baby.
I wasn't.
Isla, close that door. This is good podcasting.
Close
That's-
the door.
Close the door.
Dad,
So,
I'm going to bed now.
Okay.
speaking of drunks, you want to talk about Deep Red?
I don't see the correlation, but no, I guess there is. There it is. There it is. Sorry. Maybe we can hold off on that until Isla. I think she just likes seeing herself.
Oh, yeah, on the screen.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, she has no idea what any of this is. She just,
You guys are podcasting. Like, you guys can listen.
Isla, go, boo.
Is this going to be the worst podcast?
Yeah, well, they're very rarely good, so. Yeah, we can talk about Deep Red now.
Well, you know what? Before we talk about Deep Red, oh man, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up because this has nothing to do with anything. I just thought about it, dude. So, you know, Dirty Santa, the game Dirty Santa, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you know, in other places they call it White Elephant,
Mm-hmm.
which I have no idea what the fuck where that came from. But whatever. So last year we did, you know, White Elephant, you know, with my mom and my brothers and the family. So I thought this year,
The worst podcasts are the best.
What?
The worst are the best podcast.
It's definitely more towards bad than good.
That is not joking.
Maybe.
yeah, it's
a
not
little-
joking.
Yeah.
This is going to
No,
be the
it's-
best one ever.
It's the best.
It's the best day ever.
Pretty good day.
So
But anyway.
So you know, this year I was like, and you know, the rule of like Dirty Santa is to buy something that you won't be against if you get stuck with it, right? Or at least that's what I was always told. Buy a gift that if you get stuck with it, you won't regret it. Feel bad about it.
Yeah, but the way the game's set up, like you,
Well, if other
what's the
people
chances of you getting stuck with it?
well, if other people bring shitty gifts, you might just be like, "Well, I wonder what this package is." And you're like, "Oh, I wonder who brought this." But anyways, so this year I bought a deep fryer.
What was the price limit on this?
$20.
Can you get a deep fryer for 20?
You can on like Best Buy's deal of the day.
Okay.
So yeah, I ended up buying a deep fryer, but it's the smallest fucking deep fryer, I guess, that you can buy. It's literally made for like a single person. I didn't know it was gonna be so small when I bought it, but like I'm
Like
gonna
4 cheese sticks.
yeah, pretty much. It's like you see my hands.
Excuse me. Yeah, yeah.
That's how
small.
big. That's how big it was. I think it was tiny, but I've been using the hell out of it.
Oh, you ended up with it. This
Yeah.
this is where.
Well, no. So I ended up with it, but that's because the game didn't happen. Nobody told me that we weren't doing Dirty Santa this year, so I roll up with this poorly wrapped gift. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for Dirty Santa or White Elephant. And they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing that. I'm like, oh. They're like, yeah, we forgot to tell you. Sorry. I'm like, oh. So I was like, so thankfully I had bought something that I wouldn't mind getting stuck with. So now I got this little bitty ass deep fryer that I cook like 10 tater tots at a time in.
10 tater tots.
It's a little more than that, but it's not much. It's a small deep fryer.
Do you still have that deep fryer though?
Yeah, it's on my.
The other one? Yeah.
So now I have a deep fryer and an air fryer. My air fryer is huge though. I have a dual basket Ninja air fryer.
Man, I wish I had a crock pot and an air fryer. Do you have a crock pot?
No.
I guess that's more like for families, I guess.
Well, no, you can use it to make rotel and stuff.
Yeah. I know. But I don't know. Crock pots are for people who drink coffee. It's probably good that
The problem I run into is just not having enough space. I mean, you should know what I'm talking
you
about.
run out of space pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, because we both live in like 1-bedroom apartments.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a matter. It's like, where are you going to put shit? I need to buy some more bookcases.
To put the air fryer on?
Well, no, not the air fryer, but just other shit. Like, you can see it in the corner right there. Oh, hell. Hold on. I meant to do that. I've been giving away the whole screen here. But like that Leatherface statue that Chris got me for Christmas, I haven't got a place to put it yet.
Yeah, bookshelves are nice too.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the story. I know it was riveting. And it's really like padding the runtime. And I should have shaved.
Oh,
But
buddy,
yeah.
we're going to need some padding. We're going to
Pad-
need some of that padding. Padding.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said padding
yeah.
the first time,
I
making up
did.
words.
Yep.
I'll accept it. It's good.
It sounds all right, right?
Padding. Yeah.
Padding.
Yeah. So, Deep Red,
Yeah.
directed by Dario Argento, with music by the Goblins.
Again, well, I guess this is the first time. But it's the second time for us hearing goblins. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just come out and be totally honest. I watched this today. Spoiler alert, I liked it. I don't remember anything about it. Today I watched it.
Don't worry, I tried to take more notes this time. So
Yeah.
I've actually got like 3.5 pages of notes.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'll run down these bitches just like
Man, yeah, you're doing the heavy lifting.
So we'll we can be experimental this episode if you want. I'll just read a note and then we'll talk about it.
I think that's how a lot of podcasts work.
Okay. So the one thing, normally I get the budget and I get the box office and I get the other actors. But
It's hard with these Italian movies.
yeah. What's important with this movie is the two things that and for me anyway, the two things I named: Dario Argento and the Goblins.
Yeah.
Because it's in my notes, and I'll say this just off the rip, just put it out there. I love the Deep Red theme, like that the Goblins made the theme for the movie. Like, I
Oh,
love
I'm
the
gonna
way
put it
sounds.
out there. I love Goblin,
Yeah,
and if there is an Argento movie with a Goblin score, there is a baseline that this movie will not be bad. Like it might not be that good, I guess, but like after watching this and Tenebrae, Argento and Goblin, peanut butter and jelly, baby.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, like the score in Suspiria, like the music they do there. Yeah, is it Goblin or Goblins?
I thought it was I thought it was singular,
It may be, and I just may be a.
but yeah, you might be patenting it.
Yeah, patenting it. You know what? Did I pull up the Wikipedia? I did not. Let me pull this up on my phone real quick. I meant to have this pulled up so I could have like.
Well, you
something
took 3.5 pages of notes. What you need Wikipedia for?
Well, because now, yeah, it's Goblin. You're right. So not the Goblins, but Goblin, singular. But yeah, dude, that deep red. Like I said, that deep red theme though, like you watched it with subtitles, so you know which one was the deep red theme because it said on the screen deep red theme playing. And that main theme though, like I said, I just love it. It sounds so good.
Well, I mean, Tenebrae, Suspiria, this. I want these soundtracks on vinyl. Like, I
Yeah,
want to hold this and just listen to it. Like,
caress it, give the little
Yeah.
couple kisses.
just go in the
Thank you,
bathroom
Goblin.
with it just for 6 minutes. Just give me 6 minutes in the bathroom with it. But oh yeah, and it is funny though because this is probably my least favorite of the three Argento movies I've seen
Yeah,
in terms of the Goblin score and in terms of Argento. I'm gonna put that out there. We're not covering Suspiria though, but this score goes kind of crazy at times too. Like it does this Goblin thing, which is like experimental electronic music, heavy synthesizers, like the birth of that. But they also like, because there was a composer to this besides Goblin, and I want to say it's the composer. Like there's just this weird jazz music that's happening throughout the movie too, which I guess makes sense because of the story,
yeah.
a little bit, but it's not bad. You just notice it, You're like, oh, that's a little odd.
So, you ready for the first note?
Yeah, I took notes because the only thing I said was this lady's Helga's reaction to having a vision is pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, and I got that right. Not that exactly wrote down, but what I do is like the film starts off with a woman speaking to an audience, and she has this ability to not see the future, but feel things as they happen. And
Yeah, it's
feel
almost
people's
like
emotions.
they called it parapsychology, but it's kind of like telepathy. But yeah, it's odd. They don't. Thankfully, the movie doesn't linger with that
Yeah.
because I think this movie could have, if it would have kept down that trajectory of like parapsychology, it could have been a completely different and maybe worse movie.
Yeah. And then she says she can feel death in the audience. Someone is having murderous thoughts.
And it's these three people talking.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like this conference, but not a conference because It's Argento. So the backdrop is this beautiful red that just fucking pops off the screen, and you have these three people sitting there talking, and they're like in this like old Roman theater, and this lady reminded me of, and tell me if you got this. She reminded me of Barbara Crampton a little bit.
I didn't think that.
You didn't think that? Yeah, something
No,
about
I'm
it.
not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying I didn't.
You
have
didn't
those
see
thoughts.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my third note is I like the red desk and backdrop.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was the desk red as well?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and and what I found actually, and this is gonna sound so stupid, or I'm gonna sound stupid, and somebody's gonna be like, "Well, of course it's that way," but I noticed that there was a lot of red in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you just see like red objects throughout the movie.
You know, Argento loves those colors. You know, he loves colors that pop on screen. Yeah.
So she can tell like somebody's having murderous thoughts, and she points at the person, and she's like, "You," and then that person gets up and leaves.
You see the POV of them getting up.
Yeah.
And,
If she has this ability and if it's legit, like why didn't?
anybody stop this
Yeah.
person? Because they left after you called them a murderer.
Yeah, maybe that's important to be like, hey, just figured somebody's a murderer, and they got up and left, and but no, we're just like, fuck it. All right, let's go back to the apartment. And I got the feeling, and you tell me if you thought differently, but the way they were having this conference, I just kind of thought that this woman was passing through, almost kind of like in Tenebrae, when he wasn't local to the area, but he was staying there for a little bit. But apparently, this Helga lady is actually set up in the area because she has the apartment. Is it above or below Marcus?
Mm-hmm.
But listening to her talk, you almost feel like this is like they're on the circuit.
Yeah, like a guest speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, going from location
Yeah.
to location. I can't imagine like how big the market is for you just to have conferences in the same town over and over.
Well, I have to assume that it's huge.
Yeah.
And Sunday nights you sell out, the matinee. And you're like, well, they're playing next week on a Thursday at 2:00. There'll only be about 20 people in there. I'll get tickets then. I'll skip work early Thursday. I mean, Parapsychology, 1975 Rome, all the rage. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. We get Helga back at her apartment though.
Oh,
and
these beautiful fucking apartments.
she's in her apartment though, and I can't just I watched this yesterday also. You said you watched it today.
I didn't watch it today.
I watched it yesterday, and I have the same problem, like trying to remember every little thing that happened. That's why I got 3.5 pages of notes today. But she hears something at the door, right? And so
When she's on the phone, yeah.
yeah, and she goes to the door, and the door just gets thrown open, and she just starts getting hacked.
Yeah, with like this cleaver.
Yeah,
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we get a death, and it's you see some special effects, and they're good special effects, but the violence isn't the same as like what we come to expect from, like, say, Fulci.
I was going to say the same thing. There's a big difference between Fulci and Argento. And
Yeah.
I've only seen one Fulci. But that movie was enough for me to be like, okay, this guy, he revels in this.
Yeah,
Like,
and you can see where their sensibilities are at. where Argento pulls back after the kills. You see it happen, but you still get a little bit of the graphicness, but he pulls back. If that was Fulci, we just saw that until like she got hacked through her shoulder completely and split in half or something.
Or something with her eye or her nipple.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the cleaver would have cut her eye in half.
Yeah.
Oh man, so and we actually, me and Chris watched another Fulci movie the other day on that night flight service I told you about. Which, man, I can't stress this enough. And I don't know why. Like, I didn't even know this was something I needed in my life. But that night flight service, I'm going to keep that because those old B movies on there and stuff, man, just scratch an itch.
Yeah.
And me and Chris watched City of the Living Dead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Was it good?
It was all right. But it's still like an experience. But as far as like the quality of the movie, it was weird.
New York Ripper was weird.
Yeah, but this one it had like zombies in it, but they would disappear and reappear. It was weird. It was weirder than New York Ripper. You would need to watch it.
Yeah. Graphic.
It's Fulci.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
There's one scene where a drill goes through somebody's temple and comes out the other side. So,
And that was 10 minutes.
it did. You know what? It did linger on the shot because you see him like slowly pulling the head towards it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Who did Cannibal Holocaust? Who was that?
I don't remember that guy's name.
Because I don't want to say you had the big three in Italian horror, but there's only like a handful that like people know, you know?
Yeah, but I think you did have a big three. So, I mean, I think you're accurate on that statement.
Yeah, like Fulci, Argento, and this is Deodato.
I would have
But
said
I think there's another one.
Brava.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And we haven't covered any Brava movies. But yeah. So definitely going to keep Night Flight for a little while, though. Just because, like I said, I didn't know I needed these exploitation.
Yeah,
Films in my
where'd you
life.
hear about this at?
Probably Facebook, honestly. I think it just popped up
Okay.
one day on Facebook.
Okay.
So
I might have to.
we get to meet our main character, Marcus Daly,
Yeah.
who I'm going to say this before you say it, just because I don't know why, but it seems like something. And I'm sure you noticed it too, though, because you're a smoker actually. But this man never once actually
Not a
lights a
smoker.
cigarette.
Ex-smoker.
Oh, did you quit?
Yeah, I've been quit for like 4 years now.
Oh, well, good for you. I thought you were still smoking, but yeah, you notice that Marcus like constantly has a cigarette but never lights it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it became just like a gag.
Yeah,
You know, like, well, let's just keep this going. Let's just.
yeah. So like I said, we get introduced to Marcus, and he's, he walks up, and the first thing I notice is these sets. These sets are so beautiful and grand. Like, he comes up and he's talking to Carlo, who's his friend, and we find out that they're both piano players. But Carlo plays to survive. Marcus plays for the art of it. So
Yeah.
Carlo's he's playing. You see this little like bar off to the side, which is apparently where he's playing at that night. But he's got like a little break, and so he's just sitting out there, drunk off his ass.
Yeah.
And he's apparently such a drunk that he's in danger of being fired from playing at this little bar because he's like, I got to get back or they're going to can me for real this time or some shit
Yeah.
like that. So it's interesting that both of these characters are piano players, and you get the differences between the two brought to the forefront right off the bat. And it's important that you know Carlo's here right now for later on in the story. So while he's talking to Carlo finally goes back to the bar. Helga, who was the girl talking at the beginning of the movie in the conference, whatever, she gets hit in the back of the head, and her throat slams down on some broken glass. And it
Yeah,
catches her.
and you don't really see the effects of because it's such a quick cut to when she falls face first into the glass. You see the effects when Marcus runs up there,
Yeah.
and he pulls her off, and there's just like these giant shards of glass just hanging out of her neck. Not really hanging; they're stuck there. But yeah, that's it's the most graphic maybe the movie gets.
Whereas,
Well, no. There's some later stuff. But did you get the hint, or did you get the vibe that I kind of read it like Carlo was Marcus's student? Because it feels like there's an age difference, and he is a teacher.
I didn't get that.
Okay.
That may be. I never thought about that. Yeah, because you don't find out that Marcus is teaching until later because he mentions
Yeah.
it in a comment. I got the opinion that they were peers.
Carlo just seems younger, like early 20s for some reason. But I don't know. But yeah, and you were talking about these sets. There's a scene that is disrupted by Helga getting killed, to where they stop and have this conversation in front of this statue, and Argento just frames it to where like Carlo and Marcus are on the other end of the statue that's in the street, and it's a big fucking statue. I can't tell you what it is, but it's more long than high.
Yeah.
And it's just like this beautiful shot of these two guys talking, and then we get the scream. Marcus runs up, and yeah, we get our first victim. And after Helga dies, obviously we'll get into what happens, but we don't get another death for like 50 minutes.
Yeah, so this movie didn't have a huge body count.
No.
There's a lot of like exposition in the movie. I will say this: if that had been Fulci, those glass shards would have went through the eye.
Oh, and somehow found their way to her cooch. Like,
All right,
yeah.
so Marcus is first on the scene. He sees that his neighbor's dead. And he looks out the window and he sees somebody leaving in a brown overcoat.
And he sees Carlo. Because the movie wants to let you know Carlo's not a suspect. Well, actually, you kind of know that. But Carlo was framed in the shot, right? Was he not?
No, because I think he had to have been, because Marcus asked him later on, he's like, did you see somebody in a brown coat come
Yeah.
by? And he's just like, yeah, no, yeah. He's just fucking drunk and he's an unreliable source.
Yeah, but they purposely have, I thought, Carlo in the shot to where, for the end,
Well, I don't think that they want you to think that Carlo isn't a suspect. I think they want you to think that, well, I don't know. Because we'll get to it. I don't want to get ahead. I don't want to get too far ahead of
But
myself.
but look, it's fine. It's fine with this movie, but it is funny. Like you watch enough of these movies, you don't even have to watch a lot of them, but you start, you know, becoming the detective of the movie. You know, you're trying to figure it out, right, along
Yeah.
with the main character. And with this one, and to a lesser degree, Tenebrae, but this one, you'll have characters that just disappear for large swaths of the movie. Like, we're about to talk about Argento's muse, the character, the journalist.
Yeah.
She came in, and then she seems important. They even have a scene of her and Marcus, and they call it Indian wrestling, which, okay, it's arm wrestling. I don't know why you'd call it Indian wrestling, just to prove that she's strong, that she's strong enough to be a killer.
Yeah.
That's the way I read it. And she's gone. Like 2 scenes up front, 3. And then she's gone for like an hour. And so you're just sitting there clocking it, being like, well, you know, it's like Scream, you know? If we watch Scream now for the first time, and you notice that Billy and Stu have just fucking disappeared, especially Billy, just fucking disappeared from the movie, you know, and then show up, you know? You can't tell me that Kevin Williamson, you know, wasn't a fan of Giallo movies, you know, in a way. Because it kind of has that same
Who did it?
pitter-patter. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. But this movie toys with that.
I got I got the same feeling that you did when it came to, God, I got her name, Gianna. That was her character's name. I got the same feeling that you did, where they're like going through all of this to establish essentially that she could be the killer because she's
Well, yeah.
physically capable. Because
Yeah.
Marcus makes that comment. He's like, well, women are weaker. They're more delicate. There's differences between men and women. And then it's like, yeah, well, let's see. And they have that arm wrestling, and she immediately slams him. And he's like, oh, wait, oh, was ready with blah, blah, blah. And so they do it again, and she ends up beating him again. And then he gets all pissy. You can tell, like,
Oh, yeah, his manhood was
Yeah.
hurt. Yeah.
exactly. And she's just like, well, let me, come with you, whatever. And he's like, no. And she's like, when are we going to see again? He's like, never. But before we get to that, I do want to talk about this. So we already talked about the beautiful set pieces. And that's literally what my note says: beautiful set pieces. But then the next note, and this has to do with John, is what a shitty car.
Oh, my God.
Dude, that fucking car. So she's like, no, I have to get in this door first, and slides over to the driver's side. And then he gets in, and the fucking seat falls. And then he locks the door. And she's like, no, don't lock the door. I'm like, how many things can be wrong with this one vehicle?
Well, how much do you get paid being a journalist? Like, you can't upgrade a little, you know? And it was such like this shitty European car, that
Yeah.
only existed in Europe. Like these fucking, it looked like a clown car. Like a gag would be like 30 clowns get out of it. That's how
Yeah.
small it was. And that's such a weird scene, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it sets up nothing.
Yeah, there's no payoff to it or anything like that. It's just, we're in this car, and it's like, oh, shit, now we got to call somebody to get us out.
Yeah, the car doesn't come back,
Like, it would have, the way they almost set it up, you almost feel like somebody would have got killed in the car because they're trapped in there, and you can't get away from the killer because the door got locked or something. Just something. And
Something, yeah.
Nothing ever happens with it. It's just like we set up this car as like its own character almost, and then proceed to never use it again.
Yeah, it was an odd scene. Yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah, so we talked about the arm wrestling, and we talked about how he gets beat twice. But then they're like, he's like, I'm gonna do my own investigation, and she's like, well, I guess I'll do my investigation also. So now we have like these dueling investigations where you think that you're gonna see both of them investigating these crimes, but like you said, you don't see Jana for a while.
No, and you're introduced to the detective at the crime scene right after Helga dies, and then the cops just count this as an unsolved murder because the only person investigating is Marcus and Gianna.
Yeah.
That's it. Like the cops don't even intervene with Marcus and be like, "Let us do our fucking job."
Right.
You know, they're just like, "Fuck it. Well, this is a freebie. Let's just
is
see
a
where this
freebie."
goes. Let's just see where this goes."
So after that, Marcus goes to Carlo's home, and he meets his mother,
Yeah.
and she keeps thinking that Marcus is an engineer.
Yeah, and he tells her like 3 different times, "I'm a penis."
Did you say penis?
I did. I was wondering if you'd catch that.
Yeah.
I love how you stop. You're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
No, but he tells her multiple times, "I'm a pianist," and this woman's fucking loony as shit. You know, talking about how she used to be an actress, like fucking honest to God, like Bruce Springsteen wrote like Glory Days after watching this movie. like look at the pictures when I was in my 20s. Yeah.
And then we see Carlo, and Carlo's always like drunk in this movie. It seems like.
Yeah.
So we see Carlos, and Carlos is like, and I'm not going to say what he said because it's but he's
He calls
like,
himself a faggot.
okay,
That's what he says.
yeah. He's like, I'm drunk, I'm drunk and gay, and which doesn't, once again, doesn't serve any purpose to the story.
No, but it makes Carlo more of an interesting character.
Yeah.
Because I did want to know more about like his boyfriend, because his boyfriend that was another character, the boyfriend reminded me of. Did you ever watch? You did True Detective,
Yeah,
the first season.
yeah, I've seen most of it.
When McConaughey goes to the bar, and he talks to this interesting character who has like a mustache, very feminine, but like the actor whoever played that part, he kind of steals the scene with McConaughey,
Yeah.
who steals every scene, but this actor steals it. The actor's really good, but his character, you're like, oh, I just want to know more about you. That's the same way with Carlo's boyfriend or fuck buddy. I'm just like, let's just linger on him a little bit because this is, I don't know, just interesting. But no,
You don't, and you don't see him anymore, and like,
no, he's gone.
and yeah, that's a character that you could have killed off, and like added another kill to the movie, and it would have made sense once you find out who the killer is. Because then it could have been,
Yeah.
Because then it could have been like they did it because they disapprove of that lifestyle.
Yeah,
Or
something like that.
It's just because when you're watching movies, horror movies in particular, characters get introduced so they can be killed. And
Today's horror movies.
well, I'd say like even in the 80s, like characters are introduced so they can be killed. So you get to meet all the characters, and then you establish who your main character is, and then you kill off the rest of them in creative and inventive ways. And in this movie, you get people that are introduced, and they just disappear. Like you said, they just disappear for the movie.
Yeah, and you know what? And obviously, you know this, and I'm just saying it. That's what's so good about these giallos, because it doesn't follow that formula. It's Italian, so they're not really adhering to the Hollywood script code.
After the scene with Carlo, and I'm assuming it's Carlo's mother, Marcus goes back to his apartment, and then the killer is in his apartment.
And this was such a weird scene. This was because he's sitting there, Marcus is sitting there, and he's trying to write a musical piece.
Yeah.
And
with his unlit cigarette.
Of course. And he very clearly has a lighter.
Yeah.
I saw it. But he's writing this piece, and like just the geography of this scene is weird because you see the killer walking above him. And I mean, these Italian apartments look amazing, but they seem like they're falling apart because it knocks like the stuff from the ceiling on the piano.
Yeah.
And Marcus is too busy thinking about lighting that cigarette, chooses not to, that he has no idea that shit from the ceiling just fell enough to where you'd be like, what's that? Like he had zero acknowledgement. But it is kind of creepy, though, this scene, you know, because he sees something in the apartment. He grabs like a statue that looks like a weapon. Like this small statue, like it's like this human figure, but with a beak.
Yeah.
That is sharp as fuck. I mean, it looks so sharp.
I'd have to look at the statue again. I remember like the basic shape of it, but I didn't look at it too closely. And it couldn't have been a plague doctor. That just seems out of place.
No, it feels in that vein, though.
Yeah. And this is also where we get introduced to music playing while the killer's around. Because remember they had that song that would play?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, the first time we actually see that. But the killer is in his apartment, and the killer tells Marcus, like, I'll kill you later.
Yeah, sooner or later I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he calls Gianni, right?
Yeah.
He locks the door and calls her while the killer says it to him. And he hears a song that's, man, there's some great shots of just like physical media. Like, because it's like this old school tape recorder. Not tape recorder, but like, what's it called? I really need Bone here to tell me what this is called. It's like a movie reel, but it's not a movie reel. It's audio. I don't know. Bone just motioned me to keep talking. And yeah, that's kind of a tall ask, especially when you're discussing a movie and the other person draws a fucking blank on what technology they're using.
I'm back, baby.
But what's it called?
I don't know.
Do you know?
No.
But you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the fact that you thought highly enough of me that I would know, and now that I'm sad because I have to disappoint you because I don't know.
Okay.
And yeah,
so
I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. I can see it in my head, and I have no idea what it's called.
It's not a 8-track. I don't know.
I know what an 8-track is because my mom used to have a Meatloaf 8-track.
Yeah, I know what 8-track is too because it's before cassettes. But anyway, Argento shows these
8-track.
close-ups of, I don't know, man.
Goddamn 8-track. I'm pulling
straws, man.
Did you ever listen to an 8-track?
Oh, I'm sure my grandmother. I've heard it once in my life.
Yeah, you're not living until you've listened to Paradise by the Dashboard Life on 8-track.
Oh, I would love that actually. I would love that
My
so
mom,
much.
oh man, we've talked about this before, but I don't think I've ever actually talked about it on this podcast. But my mom was a I thought she was a big Meatloaf fan. There for a while I thought Meatloaf was her favorite artist, but I guess I was wrong because she said Styx, and her favorite song is Renegade. But anyways, which I heard on the radio the other day actually too. It came on Sirius XM. But
Did you call your
anyways,
mom?
I should have, but no, I didn't. The she had this fucking Meatloaf 8-track of Bat Out of Hell, and I swear that when she would get a car, I don't want to say I say new car, but I don't mean like new car, like new, but like
New to
used.
her.
Yeah, new to the family because we were poor. But she would get cars with 8-track players so we could listen to this fucking 8-track.
When's the last time you heard Paradise by the Dashboard Light?
Probably within the last year.
That song is hilarious. That song is like intentionally funny. Like it's so good and so funny. I recommend everybody going back and listening to it and listening to the lyrics. Ah, it's so funny. It's so goddamn funny.
You know, me and Daniel did a duet of Paradise by the Dashboard Light at my wedding.
Is there evidence of this?
There may be a video somewhere. I don't know.
That's yeah. It should be a man and a woman, but I appreciate the
I know.
gender bending there because if you know what the song's about, it's hilarious. Two men singing it to each other.
Oh, I know, but you know,
Hey, it's karaoke. It's
Yeah.
wedding night. Let's get drunk and sing "Islands in the Stream." You know.
we get a back to Deep Red. We get a scene with a doll hung up by a noose, and the birds going crazy, and the killer's playing their music. And
I think you skipped some. I think you jumped
maybe
because
I'm just
isn't
reading-
that
I'm reading the notes. They're written in order.
because he's able to find out what song this is, and then like the guys who are with Helga, the two gentlemen, they tell her to check out this book from. It's like an Italian library, but it's a little different, and it's written by this author, and she's talking about this house that was haunted, and they would hear this song. He finds out who the author was. It's like Amanda Rigetti. And then he calls Gianna. And he's like, I'm heading there. And that's when I started thinking, okay, Gianna knows where he's going, so Gianna would know. And this author who loves birds, this is the scene, right? This is where she sees the baby doll hung up by a noose, right?
You know, we've forgot to talk about Marcus's criminal activity. Actually, he steals government property because he rips a page out of that book.
Oh, shit.
Y'all remember that?
No,
Dude,
but I was rooting for this guy, and now I hate him.
forgot about the. I didn't write a note on the library scene, which I don't know why I didn't. But
You got 3.5 pages.
Yeah. So, yeah, when he's in that library though, he's sitting there looking at the book, and then he looks around to see if anybody's around him, and he just casually tears the page out of the book and puts it in his pocket, and it's a picture of the house that he goes in search of. But yeah, the scene with the knitting needle, I'm trying to I'll read you the note as I wrote it. Killer playing music, grabs knitting needle, killed bird.
Yeah, well, we cut back to this author who's living in the countryside, and she's saying goodbye to like this older lady. I guess it was her cleaning lady. And she comes back in, and you know, it's the author, but that's all you know about her. And she goes back inside, and that's when she's hearing like sounds,
Yeah.
and she goes back inside and she sees the doll hanging up, and she rightfully freaks out because that's a creepy image. And yeah, she grabs these needles and she has these two birds because that's what the cleaning lady and their little bit of dialogue, they were talking about the birds that she has.
Yeah.
And so, how, why this bird leaves the cage and flies straight into the knitting needle? Because this Rigetti character gets scared. She hunkers down, like a lot of people do in horror movies. And this bird just commits suicide. Just straight up just kills itself. And yeah,
Bird commits suicide.
yeah. And this is when I don't know who's portraying the killer, like in the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not
The person that it is.
the person that it is, but I did notice, like, because they come up behind Miss Rigetti, and they are shorter than Miss Rigetti, and I'm like, okay, well, it's Gianna,
Yeah.
Obviously, like all these things are kind of lining up now.
Because we've established, because this kill that happens here is it's, to me it's graphic, but not graphic in the way of like Fulci, right? It's not like eyeballs getting plucked out of their sockets or anything like that. But when this lady gets killed, the killer like is taking her head and driving her face first into the corners of furniture. Like
No, that's the wrong victim.
is it?
This killer.
Oh no! I'm sorry. You're right. Let me read you my note.
I didn't even take notes, brother. What are you doing?
Yeah, I read the first part of my note and thought it was the other kill. I'm sorry, because there's two kills involving faces. This one shoved her face in scalding water, and then she wrote something on the wall. Yeah, so this is very. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. This is very Halloween 2.
That's what I thought of too. Yeah.
Where the only the person that's dying is getting their skin burnt. Because
This one's got a good excuse though.
Yeah, but it still had to be hot through those gloves.
Maybe, but Michael Myers wasn't wearing anything.
No,
like
Michael
that.
Myers was not. But he, he survived being burnt alive. So, not a fair comparison.
True. Especially when you find out who the killer is in this one.
Yeah.
Like, they should have made at least a noise. Ow!
But the effect on the person that on the lady that got her face shoved in the scalding water actually looked pretty good. It looked like real burns,
Yeah.
like it bubbled up and everything. Like, ugh.
But
Now,
not too graphic.
If it had
not
been
too
Fulci,
graphic.
if it was Fulci, those little blisters would
Bubbles
have
would
been
have
bursting.
burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd have been oozing.
And then somehow found their way to the nipple, which would burn off. I'm assuming.
Marcus, in his quest, he finally actually finds his house that matches the picture in the paper. He finds this house, and he goes to, I guess, talk to the owners or the owner and to get the key. And there's a little girl there, and her name is Olga. And this dude, the owner or landlord or whatever it is, gives him the keys, and he's like, she'll take you up there. She'll take you to this house. You can look around, and they're leaving, and he calls her back, and he's like, wait a minute, you come here right now. And Olga goes over there, and he slaps the shit out of her. And you're just like, what the fuck? What just happened? Why'd he slap her? And then she goes back to Marcus so they can go to his house, and you see that there's a lizard on the ground that has a pin shoved through it. So apparently this little girl likes torturing animals, which is just a weird character trait to have. And they tell Marcus too, because he's wanting to go to his house. You know, like, hey, you need to be careful. That house isn't safe. There's ghosts in it. And they're like, oh, ghost. Oh, Josh is back now, and he's shaking his head. And like,
No, this is I totally forgot about this side of a side plot.
yeah, I was just talking
With this-
about Olga getting
the little
shit
girl.
slapped. Yeah, she got the shit slapped out of her, and then you find out that she put a needle through a lizard.
She is one of the creepiest kid actors. Like, it's Hereditary, and then it's her, like right below. There's something about this little girl that's so unnerving
Yeah,
that matters fuck all to the plot.
right.
But you think the movie might go in that direction. It's crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So we get Marcus go into this house that matches the house in the picture, and he gets in there. You know, he's looking around, and eventually he ends up at his wall, where it looks like the plaster's coming off, and so he starts digging at it with his finger, and then he gets a piece of glass and he starts digging at it, and he finally uncovers this picture, and it's like of a little kid stabbing. Well, you think it's a little kid stabbing somebody, but then it turns out that once Marcus walks away from it, there's more to the picture he didn't see because he didn't uncover enough, and like a piece falls off, and you see another person. And then Marcus gets hit in the fucking face with some glass.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it only cut like the side of his forehead, but it could have been worse.
You know, it's when I watched this movie right before I put it on, like I watched the trailer, which came with the digital movie, U.S. trailer.
Yeah.
Even in 1975, for whatever reason, when they cut this trailer for the American audience, they showed everything. Like they didn't show who the killer was, but every death, I knew when it was going to happen. I knew how it was going to happen. And like, this is the one time that the trailer sort of edited it real quick to where I didn't see this coming. Like when the glass breaks.
Yeah.
And when he's hanging out the window later.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, there's somebody holding him who's about to drop him. That's the only two scenes. So when the glass did fall and it shattered on his face, I was like, oh, shit. Like, he's going to be fucked up, right? No, he's not. He's all right.
He's made of sterner stuff.
Well, he's losing Indian wrestling
Oh,
matches.
He did do that. Indian wrestling.
Why? What the fuck? Where do you get that? Where did they get that from? It's always been arm wrestling, right?
I thought so. We get a. This is the death that I had wrote that I was talking about. So, let me
Best scene in the movie.
let me read from you my notes, or let me read for you from my notes. Let me say it right. Clear my voice.
Yeah.
Robot doll attacked. Smashed mouth and corner of furniture. Ouch. Yeah, so this is the scene I was thinking about earlier when I got him confused. When the woman like has her face shoved into the corner of these furnitures with her mouth open, and they're just smashing her head repeatedly. And man, it was like I said, it's not graphic in the sense of like we said, Fulci graphic, but it's still graphic in the sense that it's like you're watching it and you could almost like feel it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
no.
The actor, we both watched it twice. But this actor who gets it here, obviously, he's in his apartment, his magnificent, beautiful apartment, right? Mm-hmm. And he's the one who goes to Amanda Righetti's house. We got another amateur detective on the job because he goes there and he figures out that, she had written something
Yeah.
right before she died. And he figures it out, goes into the bathroom, starts running hot water, steams it up. So we got that little side plot of him being Encyclopedia Brown Jr., but he's back at his house. And this actor, I thought, was the same guy, and it would make sense. And I don't know if you remember it. You remember in New York Ripper, the husband and wife, who the wife liked to
Oh, yeah.
record. You remember what the husband looked like?
Vaguely.
He looks just like this guy, different actor. I was like, oh my God, like we've never covered DiCaprio or Daniel Day-Lewis on this podcast, but we've covered two of this guy's movies. But sadly, no, it looked a lot alike.
We're a John Saxon podcast.
You goddamn right we are, and proud of it.
Like, we're just going to, from here on out, new format change, everybody.
John Saxon.
John Saxon over and over. And if we run out of John Saxon movies to cover, we'll just go back through them again.
No, we'll just start covering Jared Leto movies.
Be covered by yourself. I mean, Jared Leto has some good movies, but
What, you don't want to watch Urban Legend?
for some reason, and I don't know why, Jared Leto reminds me of Aaron.
Yeah, I don't see it, but
I don't know why. I just I see Jared Leto and I think of Aaron.
I don't.
I could see Aaron singing some 30 Seconds to Mars song.
Lord. I have no opinion on 30 Seconds to Mars.
You don't see the resemblance, though, between Aaron and Jared Leto?
I personally don't, but I see the resemblance between John Saxon and Jared Leto.
That's a shame. Yeah, so Marcus goes back to the house, and I can't remember, why is he climbing?
Well, but he noticed in the pictures that there was a window, and there wasn't one when he
this-
went.
Oh God, hold on. Let me review my notes here for a second. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, so yeah, so he sees a room with a window, but he's trying to come in through the window then, right?
Yeah, he's trying to see what's behind it.
Yeah, and he drops his flashlight, and then he almost falls. And
Twice.
so we get this scene of him essentially just climbing down because he almost fell, and so he doesn't even get to the room. He has to go back into the house, and he has like a pickaxe, right? And he starts smashing this wall down, and he finds
Yeah.
a secret room that has a corpse in it.
Which,
At some point, should stink.
well, can you explain to me what that is
What, that corpse?
in terms of the plot?
No, I don't know. Well, they said the house was haunted, so I'm assuming it ties back to that. Like, this is why people think the house is haunted. I don't know. It reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe, though, because Edgar Allan Poe liked to seal people up in rooms. Or
You mean his stories or the man?
no stories.
Okay. Well,
that
yeah,
different?
you're disparaging one's character.
I think it's like was it the Cask of Amontillado where the person got walled up alive?
I'm not too familiar with Poe's work. I do know. You don't have Netflix,
I do.
but
not.
in the fall of the House of Usher, it's all different kinds of Poe's work
Yeah.
combined into one big one, and someone does get walled up in that, and you need to watch it because it is really good.
It's just, I don't know. Netflix is so expensive nowadays.
I know.
It's like $25 to get 4K streaming.
What? Give me a a comparison.
Well, for $25 a month with like Hulu, I get Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I noticed that Disney Plus is putting R-rated movies on there now.
Yeah, they've been doing that here for a while
Well, I knew that
because
there,
we got the, yeah.
but here they were split between like Disney Plus and Hulu. Like that type of like Prey went to Hulu, even though Disney owns it.
Yeah. That's where they put the Fox stuff, right?
Yeah. Except
Yeah.
now, like I was on Disney Plus yesterday, just looking around. I didn't end up watching anything, but like Logan's on there. And, Logan was the R-rated Wolverine movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's on there. I should have looked around and seen if they had put aliens up on that bitch.
It's on here obviously because it's not Hulu here. They call it Stars, like the old movie channel back in
Yeah.
the day.
That's still a channel.
Yeah, I didn't know what is and what isn't, but yeah, that's what they. It's that and like National Geographic and what else is there?
Did you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
the trailer for Alien Romulus?
Oh, I didn't know it dropped.
Yep.
Oh shit, no. Well, it must have dropped in like the last 48 hours.
Yeah, it was recent.
Who is it? It's my boy Fede Alvarez, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like Fede. I mean, I would be curious to check out this trailer.
Yeah,
Does it give away a lot?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I'll watch it because I'm curious. And like I enjoyed Prey, so
Well, I just watched Predators again.
I enjoyed Predators.
I really like Predators. It's my second favorite Predator
I don't
movie.
know why people dislike it.
I don't either.
We've
I don't
had
get
this
it.
conversation because Predators and Terminator Salvation, for some reason, are like the black sheep of these series.
Unfairly maligned, yes.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Terminator Salvation, and I was looking forward to that storyline continuing.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get that.
No, you're gonna eat Genesis and you're gonna like it, motherfucker.
Or Dark Fate, or whatever it was called.
I will say this about Dark Fate. It had some pretty solid action sequences in it.
I'll have to watch it then. I haven't watched either of those.
Yeah, it's now look, I'm not a Terminator head, and but with Genesis, once you made John Connor the bad guy, it's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even your target audience here, but now you're trying to be cute for the sake of being cute,
In that, I feel like that's just such a weak. Your version looks like a whatever. It's such a weak cop out, or just like trying to find some kind of hook for your movie. It's like instead of making a good Terminator movie, you're just like, well, I know what we'll do. We'll make John Connor the bad guy, or we'll kill John Connor at the beginning of this movie and make a new savior for humanity. It's like, and the Terminator movies were always about saving John Connor. That's what the Terminator movies were. Protecting John Connor, who's the savior of the human race. And Terminator Salvation seemed like, and God, we should just do an episode on Terminator Salvation, but Terminator Salvation seemed like the natural progression of the story, especially considering how time was passing in real life. And then just to be like, oh, well, we're going to, make John Connor the bad guy. It felt lazy. Like, tell John Connor's story. Don't try to, shock us or subverting expectations. Yeah, God, I hate that phrase too. because that's what people always say when they do something that's not well received, or it's not what people wanted. We subverted your expectations. We didn't give.
And they
you
say it after the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's always after the fact. Yeah.
and it's like the Resident Evil movies. Instead of making the movies like the game, well, we're going to subvert expectations because you already know the story of the game, so we're going to tell a different story. Then don't buy the fucking IP, okay? Don't license the IP if you're not going to tell the story, because that's what people fucking want. They want the fucking story from the games. That's why they're excited about it. They don't want your fucked up vision of whatever you think it is. And Resident Evil is just a real big offender. But yeah, subverting expectations. Like I said, I'm not a fan of that phase, because it's like you said, people always use it after the fact. It's you didn't like this? Oh, well, we were subverting expectations. We were trying to give you something that you wouldn't see coming. Sometimes the best course of action is just to give people what they fucking want.
No, well, actually, it's very true in their statement. You subverted expectations because I expected a decent movie and you gave me a
Right.
shit movie. So I guess you did subvert my expectations. But even with Terminator Genesis, man, it is it's lazy to make John Connor the bad guy. That's lazy. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it's also lazy casting because I like Amelia Clarke. I like her in Solo.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Star Wars guy anymore. I like Solo. I don't care. I liked it. It was entertaining. Amelia Clarke's good in that. She don't work in Genesis. And then once you cast Jai Courtney, like the actor who is a flavor of the week, who has as much screen charisma as fucking paint drying, what are you doing? And look, you're not gonna like Dark Fate. They kill fucking John Connor at the
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. He's
at the
killed.
very beginning.
Yeah. Like, we're subverting expectations. Now, just give me Terminator Salvation Part 2 or whatever the fuck you were going to call it. Because that was interesting. Like, where the story was going. You can't just keep doing fucking... I guess you could. But I don't know how long you expect it to last if you just keep doing time travel. Where it's like, oh, we're coming back in time to do this. And... No, just...
I know. It's
Also-
beating a dead horse.
And also, when you do it, you keep pushing off, like, the future that the Terminator movies predicted. Because at some point, you catch up. It's like Back to the Future, right? At some point, we actually made it
Yeah.
to 2015.
Yeah.
And, same thing in Terminator. Like, at some point, we get to Judgment Day. Like, and you got there in Part 3.
Well, how bad are the machines at just getting this right if they always have to be going back in time?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes them look bad, really.
Yeah, because at some point, too, you just be like, well, why don't we just go back to, 1970, whatever, and we'll kill Sarah Connor as a kid. And then there's no John Connor. Of course,
It is so funny.
Yeah, time travel's tricky, though. And we just turned into a fucking episode about Terminator all of a sudden.
No, yeah, and we're going to keep it going just for a little bit longer. It is so funny when you watch, like, the 84, the original Cameron Terminator, and realize how much that movie is Halloween, but with a sci-fi twist. I mean, T-800 is pretty much Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He really is. But, yeah, we can... But no, that alien, yeah. Was it Romulus?
Romulus.
Okay. I kind of want to see the trailer. I can't tell you the last movie I went in blind, though. Like, completely blind. And I hate trailers, but I have to watch them. It's like a sickness. And
Yeah.
trailers nowadays, they're going to give everything away. Everything. It's like these editors are competing for a prize.
So, the house is on fire. The house catches on fire.
Ooh, fake fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was pretty bad looking. But Marcus is in the house, and he gets. This is after he sees the secret room. He gets knocked out. He gets knocked out. The house catches on fire.
By whom?
I'm assuming it had to be the killer, right?
Finish the job.
Yeah. Well, I guess they thought that it was just going to burn up, but he gets saved. And I got this wrote down in my notes because it's just. It was funny to me when they were talking about the house burning down, and the guy says, "Roast duck, baby."
She says it.
Or she, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah, she. But yeah, roast duck, baby. Like, what? Okay.
God bless them. English is their second language. Like, I, I'd hate to hear my Italian script.
So, you had said, like, the little girl, like, nothing really happens with her. The only other thing, like, you see with her is she drew a picture that matches what's in the house. And Marcus is like, well, this isn't. How'd you draw this? Like, where'd you get it from? And she's like, well, I came up with it. He's like, there's no way you came up with it. This is what was in the house.
Yeah, and she's like, well, I seen it. I saw it at school. And this little girl, I don't know if this is real or not. She attends the Leonardo da Vinci School.
Oh, yeah, I got that wrote down.
Jesus.
Marcus and Johnny went to the Leonardo da Vinci School.
How prestigious of a school. Yet, come on, Rome. Let's put a little bit more money in the Leonardo da Vinci School. This sumbitch look like Carthage High School. Like, God.
And then the chalkboard has a drawing of a hanging on there. A lot of hangings in this movie. Not a lot. But the doll was hanging. Now there's a drawing.
It's a motif that really don't make any sense either.
Yeah. Because nobody gets hung in the movie.
Nor do when you find out the killer's past.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that? No. Well, the killer kind of meets their demise. Kinda. With hanging. Well, there's something around their throat.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was. Yeah, we'll get there. So, I notice I say so a lot. I need to quit saying that. I'm going to say something else.
Anywho.
Yeah, anywho. Oh, and like the silence was me trying to think of something, and my brain was just not cooperating. I'll tell you what I was thinking about, actually, was these tacos from this Mexican restaurant over here by my apartment, man. They got some fucking good-ass tacos. They got these brisket tacos that are made for dipping. So good.
What? Why you gotta tell me shit like that, man?
I don't know. Oh, you got all that kick-ass Sweden food? You know, Swedish meatballs? And whatever else y'all have over there?
It is so funny though, because like
Y'all just call it meatballs?
yeah, just meatballs over here. And they're nothing special. But it is so funny though, because it's meatballs and potatoes, you know. What can you grow here? Not much.
I want to see these meatball fields.
Well, look, there's a lot of, you know, you can have cows here, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so funny though, because like they love hard cheese here, right? Hard cheese, you have to cut it, and they love hard bread. A couple of people have even dunked on me being an American and our cheese. But it is funny because I've been thinking, I'm like, y'all love cheese so much, but y'all have never thought to put cheese with potatoes and have cheesy potatoes. It's like, what are we doing?
Well, apparently they're not having grilled cheeses either.
No.
Missing out. I was
Look,
on a grilled cheese kick for a while.
They don't. Yeah, I love it. Look, they have these little things that are like hash browns here, but they're circular, right? They're just potatoes that, if you chopped them up, it'd be tater tots, just
Yeah.
and they don't view it like we would view it. So I started buying them. I'm like, shit, this is like a little hash brown. I'll throw this shit on the stove and throw some, because they do sell burger sliced cheese.
Yeah.
Throw some burger sliced cheese on that. I got a cheesy hash brown with like bacon and eggs. Like, this is an old country. Come on, let's get it together. Like,
So they
I don't know.
They don't have the. I'm taking it then that they don't have the tater tots like you can get at Waffle House, scattered, smothered, or what is it? Not scattered. God, what
No.
were the different fucking? I know smothered.
smothered and covered.
Yeah, smothered and covered, but there's other ones too because each word represented a different ingredient that you could get on top of the hash brown.
No, the only place you can get hash browns that I've seen here is an actual place that's sort of close to us called
Hash Brown
Texas
Hut?
Longhorns.
Texas Longhorns.
Yeah. Pretty good place. Like, that's the only place you can get like a proper chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
You have a pretty good spicy chicken sandwich, tater tots, a couple of Texas beers. Oh yeah, they got like big steer horns on
Really?
the walls. I mean, it's proper like trying to
What?
be Texas.
What Texas beers?
It's only one, but I forget. It's not like,
Well, it must
what
not be
you would think of.
Shinerbach because you'd have remembered.
No, yeah, it's not Shinerbach.
that. And it wasn't Lone Star apparently because you'd have remembered that. Wait a minute, it wasn't 8, was it?
No, it's some kind of hazy lager.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna have this place Texas Longhorn, and we're gonna have one Texas beer.
That shit's expensive, man, to ship that shit.
Yeah, imagine.
That shit's
so.
expensive to eat there. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Texas de Brazil?
Repeat that?
Texas de Brazil. It's a steakhouse where you get like unlimited food. Like you pay like a flat rate. You pay like $50 a person. But then you have like these cards on your table where it's green on one side and red on the other side. And when you have it green, they'll come to your table with these different meats, like on these sticks. And they'll be like, oh, do you want some filet mignon? And you'll be like, yeah. And they'll cut you some filet mignon out. Or they might come by with a ribeye, or they might come by, with just like a sausage or something, or these little sausages. And I don't know why I'm talking about this because it has nothing to do with the fucking movie, but since we got to talking about food, have you ever had lamb?
Yes.
Yeah, so they have it at like Texas de Brazil, man, where you can get it sliced off on your plate. Shit's so good.
It's succulent.
Yeah.
Is
it's one of
this
those
where y'all
places-
went for your Christmas party?
No. We went to a hibachi place.
Oh, okay.
No, I took Bailey one time because like Texas de Brazil is one of those places like I like to go every now and then, but it's not a place where I want to go by myself. I don't
It's
want
like
to
a group. Yeah.
I don't want to seem like some fatty sitting there just getting meats piled up in front of me by myself.
You don't want to come across like comic book guy and Simpsons.
Yeah, there you go. Even though before long we'll probably have the same hair. I'm gonna grow me out a little ponytail.
Wait, he's not bald, is he?
I thought he was balding.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Next note, baby.
Anywho.
No, I don't, Dalton. I don't agree with that comment. Yes, next note. Jonna was stabbed.
Yeah, at the Da Vinci School. And it kind of, I don't know, the way Argento frames it is you still kind of think she's the killer. even
Yeah.
in the school, or at least I did, because she's like, I hear something, and he doesn't hear it. So it's like, oh, she's looking for an excuse to go
Yeah.
off. She goes, and these horror movies, I swear, like she goes in this room that is pitch black to make a phone call. Pitch black, like no light coming from anywhere, and then she hears her name, and then our hero Marcus finds her stabbed.
Yeah, and then we get the reveal of what you're led to believe is the killer, and I'm an idiot. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. So I wasn't able to put two and two together right away because I'm a fucking moron. So it's revealed that the killer is Carlo. He's at the Da Vinci School, and he's telling Marcus, he's like, I told you to stay out of it. Why couldn't you just stay out of it? I told you not to get involved. And Carlo,
And I,
here's where I say I'm an idiot. Is the first kill in the movie couldn't have been Carlo. But I didn't think about it at the time when they revealed it to be Carlo. But that first kill couldn't have been Carlo because Marcus,
we saw Carlo in the frame.
yeah, Marcus was talking to Carlo too when the shit happened. But like the movie did a good job of making me forget about that. So when I saw it was Carlo, I'm like, oh shit, it's Carlo. And then you're kind of like, okay, well, I guess I could see him being the killer because the man's obviously got some problems. Like there's something like he's perpetually drunk. He he kind of gives you the idea that he hates himself.
Oh, he's self-loathing for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of get that idea, and so you're just like kind of drawn in. You're like, okay, yeah, I could see Carlo being the killer. Like he has these differing factors that could drive him to kill.
And he's came in the movie sporadically, very
Yeah.
sporadically.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time he's in the movie is when Marcus is actively looking for him. Mm-hmm.
And then we get
But
some
no.
we get some cops that show up, and these cops are the worst fucking shots.
Oh, they're so bad. They're so bad. But this, if my favorite scene was that guy dying, because I do think the little baby, the toy running in the room is just creepy and well done. If that's my favorite scene, this is my second favorite scene where Carlo escapes.
Yeah.
He's obviously still drunk. Well, never sobered up. I mean, just perpetually drunk.
Yeah.
So Carlo escapes the cops by climbing over a wall, and these cops, 7 shots, miss. He gets on the other side of the wall, and he's still sort of stumbling. And you see this truck coming. He misses the truck. He kind of rolls to the side of it. I mean, these Italian drivers could not be fucking bothered by a pedestrian. And they're carrying like, not like rebar, but kind of like rebar.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's hanging out the back. And it hooks him. There's one that has a hook at the very end, hooks his feet. These guys keep driving. And take a turn. Well, obviously, first off, like I can only imagine how skinned up he's getting.
Yeah.
Like his back is just shredded. Fulci would love to show you that.
Oh, yeah.
Argento doesn't.
Oh yeah, you see like skin hanging off and shit.
Yeah. But Argento does show you him going head first into a curb when they take a turn. But not only that, like he's fucked up there.
Yep.
He's fucked up. Then you have like the driver who will later come to Haddonfield in Halloween 2. Is American tourists there. They don't hit the brakes till the back tire is fucking on his face.
And his head, man, just gets crushed by these fucking tires.
Dude, it is gnarly.
And it was like, holy shit. Like when you watch that scene, just like, because it's like you said, him getting drugged and then smashing his head on the side of the fucking curb is
Yeah.
bad enough, but then this fucking vehicle just pulls up and like crushes his head. And it's like, whoa.
And it pops like a balloon. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just. Oh, and I'm thinking like, okay, movie's over because I'm with you. I'm like, well, that don't really make sense, but this movie kind of don't make a lot of sense anyway. Just
Yeah.
when you start thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm doing a little clock watching because this is for what it is. It's an hour 40. It's a bit on the longer side.
Yeah.
When it comes to like a whodunit slasher,
And I think it feels longer too because of what you said earlier too. There's like when you're watching a horror movie, you almost have like two expectations, right? Either the movie's it's gonna be like an hour of not shit happening, but then it's gonna be 30 minutes of rapid fire kills, or you're gonna get the kills kind of. And I'll use Nightmare on Elm Street as an example because the first Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have a huge body count, but it paces or it spaces out the kills in a way to where you're not just like, well, shit, when's something going to happen?
you're not sitting with the characters for a long time.
Yeah.
Just wandering about. But yeah, this movie, there's like 45 minutes with nobody dying. It just almost becomes like this guy trying to solve a murder.
Yeah.
You know,
But yeah, so we're thinking that the movie's over, like you said, because Carlo's dead. So what else is there left? But
and we
you
find out she's going to be okay. Gianna's going to be okay.
Yeah,
If
Johnny's gonna be
anybody's
okay.
wondering.
Yeah, that's right. They have a very reminds me of G.I. Joe the movie. Remember when they thought Duke
Yeah.
was dying, and at the end of the movie, they're like, "We just got word Duke's gonna be okay,"
You know why they did that, right?
because of Optimus Prime dying and all the kids being
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, I did show. Chris has never seen the original Transformers movie, the 1985 movie. So I showed him like not the very end, but close to the end. I was like, "This is the best scene in the movie, Chris." It's where Hot Rod gets the Matrix of leadership, and you hear Optimus's voice saying, "Rise, Rodimus Prime," and he changes, and then you go into the song, "The Touch." You've got the touch, dun, dun. You've got the power, yeah. And then he turns into Rodimus Prime. And that has nothing to do with this movie, but I love that scene.
When's the last time you seen Boogie Nights?
It's been a while, but I know that that's the song that Mark Wahlberg sings. He's like, "There's magic in the
Yes.
tapes." He's like, "Well, then pay me the money and I'll give you the tapes." It's like, we can't get the money until you give us the tapes.
Oh God.
No, that's what I tell people too. I'm like, "Did you watch Boogie Nights?" And if they're like, "Yeah," well, like we saw Mark Wahlberg singing. That's from fucking Transformers the movie. Stan Bush.
Is that who does it originally?
Yeah.
Is he from a band or is it?
Oh, I have no
He's
idea.
got to be.
I have no fucking idea, dude. I just know that scene in Transformers always gets me. It gives me like chills. It's like, yes, Rodimus Prime, kick Galvatron's ass.
Yeah.
And then he's like, light our darkest hour, and then the lights start shooting out, and Unicron gets destroyed.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Oh well. Then we get the reveal that the killer wasn't Carlo.
No. Yeah.
It was his mom. And I can't remember. Did she actually give any reasons why?
No. I don't think.
No, she
I
just,
mean, it
motives
this-
be damned.
this 4'11", 65-year-old woman is her killer, and you get a flashback of when Carlo was dressed like a schoolboy in the most schoolboy outfit, looking like a little page,
Yeah.
and and his parents are fighting, and he's listening to that children's song, and the dad threatens to something. Send her back to the crazy house. And then he's walking up to his son, you know, he loves his son.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes at him with a butcher's knife. A butcher knife. I don't think many butchers own one knife. I think it's just a butcher knife. And she kills him in front of the son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's where the drawings come from. That's what he saw.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's an alcoholic now.
Probably so.
No idea why she's killing now.
Yeah, really.
None.
And there's no like connection to any of the victims. There's nothing that connects all the victims together.
No.
Well, no, there's no.
Besides Helga, who kind of pointed a finger at her and be like, I smell death on you, but
Yeah, but yeah, that one. But like, I don't. Yeah, there's no motive. There's no reason why she's killing. She's just killing. And then obviously she tries to kill Marcus, our hero, who still hasn't lit his cigarette. He's just carrying it around. I think he just likes the feel of it.
yeah, it's his lucky cigarette.
Yeah, but she has a pretty gruesome death, and I don't mean gruesome as in like graphic, but just like it's gnarly the way she fucking goes out.
Yeah.
Because she's got this like necklace on, and she gets it hung in the elevator. And Marcus starts the fucking elevator, and you see this chain tighten around her neck, and you're like, "Oh, maybe she's gonna get strangled." Oh no,
Nope.
no, we don't stop there. You see blood come out of the neck, and all of a sudden you start seeing the fucking chain go through the neck.
It's so crazy because back when we were living together, the movie The Counselor had come out, and do you know the movie?
No.
It was like it was one of those movies that I would do a blind buy on,
Yeah.
and I would do it's just Cormac McCarthy's script. He didn't write a novel; he just wrote the script. Ridley Scott directed it. Brad Pitt, Michael Fassbender, Javier Bardem, Cameron Diaz, Penelope Cruz.
How
I'm
did
like,
I
sign
not
me up.
hear about this?
Yeah, it bombed. I put it on one night in my room, and I get 10 minutes in, and I fall asleep. And I wake up to the end of the movie. And spoiler alert for anybody who's never seen The Counselor. Even me, I've never gone back and watched it because this one scene fucked me up so bad. Brad Pitt, his character's walking down the street at the very end, and it's about drugs. So obviously, like Cormac McCarthy, Ridley Scott, it's going to get violent. So, and Brad Pitt's got this suitcase with him. Now, I don't even know because I just woke up. I'm like, okay. And these guys run up behind Brad Pitt, and they throw a razor wire noose on it that has a thing at the back that tightens. And once they throw it on him, Brad Pitt knows what's up. His character, he's like, no. He drops the suitcase, puts his hands up to stop it, but it's continually tightening. So you see it tighten around his neck while his fingers are right here. It pops off his fingers, cuts through him, and then cuts through his fucking head. It is so, like, it's insane. It's insane that, like, this entire scene, I cannot believe, like, they didn't make him cut it. Maybe I was watching the unrated version. You know how they do that?
Yeah.
It's graphic. It's haunting because the scene of it cutting through his fingers to eventually cut off his neck, and it pops his fucking head off. That's what this scene reminded me of because it's just like, that necklace, this lady's wearing like the strongest, sharpest necklace ever.
Yeah.
Just the fact that this necklace didn't just, pop off, but it just cuts through her. And then it's Argento. And they do this a couple of times in this movie that I thought was pretty gross. They do a quick shot. They show it cutting through her neck. And then Argento does a quick shot of yellow stuff coming out of her mouth or something before her head pops off.
So
And that's the movie.
that was the movie, yeah. And
And my only other note was credits roll, and I love this, and I'm surprised Tarantino hasn't done it because it's very 70s. Credits are rolling up, not down, and it says, "You have been watching Deep Red."
yeah,
That's pretty fucking cool, man. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna go first this time. You're gonna go second because I think you went
Okay.
first last time.
Oh, Jesus. Like kids here.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
are. This is a childless
know.
podcast. Let's play rock paper scissors for it.
Rochambeau, baby.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna do Cartman rules. Kick you square in the nuts. I go first. Did you ever see that episode of South Park?
I did not. No,
Dude,
I didn't know
there-
where you were going.
There's like a whole episode where Cartman's like, "Let's Rochambeau for it. I'll go first." And he, instead of playing like rock paper scissors, he just kicks people in the nuts.
Like Bobby Hill.
Yeah. And then later on at the end of the episode, he's like, "Let's Rochambeau," and he runs into somebody that knows what he's doing, and so he kicks Cartman in the nuts.
Jesus.
Oh, it's so good. So, Deep Red. I enjoyed the movie. I don't know where it would rate, like as far as I haven't really thought about it like you did, where it rates compared to Tenebrae, Suspiria, or any other like Argento movie. But I did enjoy it. I had fun with it. It does at times, like you said, it feels like it kind of drags on because you're getting a lot of exposition and not a lot happening. But when things do happen, though, like it's an enjoyable movie. Marcus as a main character, he doesn't just like. There's not like a whole lot he does, but he's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, like, if you've seen him a still shot of this movie and you saw Marcus, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's Deep Red. Whereas if somebody showed me like a still shot of Tenebrae, I may not, catch it right off the bat. The set pieces, I love the sets in this movie. They're just so beautiful and like they're so grand. Like when you get to, like at the beginning of the movie when you've got Carlo and Marcus talking outside and you got like the little restaurant bar off to the side. You've got this big open area with this, amazing architecture. And I think what really helps set it off too is that there's nobody out there. Like you see other people in the restaurant bar, but you don't see anybody walking out in this area where these two guys are talking. So it kind of gives you this sense of like a wide open space, but also isolation. So really, really love the sets in this movie. I like the kills. They were graphic enough to where you could just be like, "Ooh, God, that looks like that would hurt," but not to the point where we're just lingering on it for the sake of gore, like like Fulci does. Which, once again, if that's your thing, cool, then you're gonna love Fulci movies. But if you're one of the people that doesn't need to see all that, then Deep Red would be more your style because it's not as graphic. Like I said, enjoyed the music that Goblin did. I had fun with the movie. I'm gonna, and it tricked me at the end too because when it revealed Carlo as the killer, I was like, oh well, it's Carlo. I guess that makes sense. And then you find out it's not Carlo. So like they succeeded in that part where it faked me out with like the killer reveal and like, oh shit, he's not the killer. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, it's funny because the movie doesn't really. You just see it in the back, but that bar looks so fucking cool, does it not? It's got this diner feel to it because I thought it was a diner,
Yeah.
but apparently it's a bar, and it's just like it's so out of place, which you would think. I mean, I've never been to Rome, but like it's got this. Like I said, like it looks like a diner, which you would see like in a New York City movie from the 80s. It's just like on this street. And it's just a diner, and it's open 24 hours. And and there's like blue lights. It might be called Blue something. So cool. With this movie, it is, I've only seen 3 Argento movies, and I know like towards the later part of his career, his movies aren't as well received, but everything, I want to see his stuff before he really got into Giallo as well. But everything from here, the mid 80s, late 80s, signed me up for it because I don't know, like the colors, the way he moves the camera, where he places the camera. It's fucking art.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Go ahead.
I know. I was agreeing with you. I didn't even, and I thought the same thing. Like with the camera shots, I just for whatever reason didn't say it in my review. But yeah, you're right. Like the camera work is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And all three of his movies that I've seen, and the movies are beautiful. Goblin, I mean, all these elements, and I've said this before. Like after I watch a movie, like there's probably like a half a star. They could go either way afterwards. Like you catch me on a certain day, and I'm gonna say this, but it's usually a half a star. It's usually not a whole star. It's a half a star. This I am gonna say 3 stars. The payoff doesn't pay off. Story's a little weaker than it's a lot weaker compared to Tenebrae and Suspiria. The old lady being the killer. It's kind of a wet fart.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with the fake out, but I think that the reveal of her being the killer is a little underwhelming, especially considering the physicality that was involved in some of the kills.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she was slamming that dude's head into
I think that's why they had the scene with the arm wrestling, was to establish that the killer could be female.
Maybe, but Gianna was 20 years younger than her.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to think about all that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, in hindsight, if you're like, well, maybe, and there's no motive per se.
Yeah.
And like I said, I watched this again. It's probably 3.5, But Tenebrae, Suspiria, those are like 4.5 star movies. I mean, and if this is like Argento's, if this is my least favorite Argento of the 3 that I've seen, that's pretty fucking good. Because, I mean, I did enjoy it.
Now, which version did you watch? The last drive-in version
of this?
Yeah.
No, I watched it digitally.
Oh, yeah, me too. Wait a minute, did you watch it off my iTunes?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, I own this movie.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
Like you were gonna call Apple or something.
No.
Wait, did you watch it off my iTunes account?
It's my movie. I paid for it. I can loan it to who I want to.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
But this is a movie that I won't. I think Arrow released like
Yeah, that's where I got
a
mine
nice, but like a physical copy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I want these giallos physically. I want to touch them and take them to the bathroom and
Caress
do
them.
things with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet deep red, how I miss thee. Oh man! All right, so 3 stars for you, 3.5 stars for me. That was our final Giallo movie. We'll come back to it, I'm sure, because there's just so much more to cover. But obviously, we're moving on to our next little block, and I picked Giallo. Josh's turn to pick the subject matter, and Josh, you are picking.
I'm picking werewolves.
I was going to do a drum roll, but you just
sorry.
jumped
I know.
ahead.
Well, we can do it
Werewolves.
again. Yeah.
No, the moment's passed.
Yeah.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle.
The monkey's out of the bottle, man.
Or
Little
toothpaste
Pineapple
back in the
Express.
tube.
The 3 movies we're going to cover, we can go ahead and say it.
Sure.
Fuck it. It's, I picked 2, you pick 1. I'm picking Silver Bullet, which I know so many podcasts have covered. but it's just fun. It's fun. And I picked Dog Soldiers, and you picked The Howling.
Yep. So it should be a good time.
For us,
I actually have another werewolf movie I have to cover. So, because me and Daniel, when we finish up our Universal Monsters, the last one we're doing is The Wolfman.
okay, yeah. What's his name? Talbot?
Yeah. I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
But that is it. We thank everyone for listening. I know we haven't done this at the end of a podcast in a while, but maybe we should just remind people. Like, you can find us on Instagram, Very Unreasonable Things. You can find us on Twitter at VUT Podcast. We even have a Facebook group that we don't post in. But yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, interact with us. If there's like certain movies you want covered, I mean, we're open to suggestions. We may laugh at your suggestion and be like, fuck that, we're not watching that shit. Or we may be like, man, that person's got a good idea, let's cover that. I don't know. Josh doesn't know. There's no way of knowing. Some things are unknowable. Just, but yeah, we do thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. I thought you were going to say something at the end, like ciao or something. I was waiting.
No, I should have, since we're doing Giallo. I should have said ciao. And just let you wrap it up.
Let me. We're done. I've already wrapped it up. I'm just downloading the episode a couple times to make sure we got it.
Are we still on Twitch?